right, here we go. So everyone, welcome to our second pre-arrival call.
Tina,
Yep.
your screen is still loading, I think.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Or maybe just like reload Canva really quick.
Okay, I'll do that. 1 second. Sorry, everyone. Just give me one moment here. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Okay, should work this time. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Is it working this time?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. So
Should I
everyone,
say-
welcome. And if you could, make sure you just mute yourself too. All right. So today we're going to talk about academic counseling and class registration. You'll have a chance to meet one of your academic counselors that you'll be working with fairly closely during your time here. You'll have a chance to meet your F1 student advisors. We'll go through some important reminders. We'll talk about housing and arrival, which I'm sure you're all very curious, maybe nervous or excited about. And then we'll talk about some really important portals that you're going to use while you're here. One St. Thomas, Canvas, and Murphy. So with that, I'd like to move on to our first part, which is your academic counselors. And we have Kathy Hawks, one of your academic counselors. Kathy, if you could just introduce yourself, and I'd like to ask you a few questions as well.
Sure. Welcome, everybody. We're very excited to have you coming to campus. I'm sure you're very excited and probably nervous as well. My name is Kathy Hawks. I'm one of the academic counselors. There are actually about 10 of us in our office, but there are two of us, myself and the other pictured counselor here, Stephanie Fernando, who are the two academic counselors specifically for international students. Not to say you can't talk to anyone anytime, but we kind of specialize with all of you and know a lot about your cases. So academic counselors are the individuals on campus that can help you with all things registration related, course related, choosing a major, maybe transferring courses or test scores, all the things about getting into your classes and taking the right classes towards graduation. So we will meet frequently at different times. And we're always available for things like degree planning, where we like plot out your classes and just kind of help you navigate that process toward, or the journey towards graduation. Do you want to start with questions or should I jump in, Tina?
I think you can just start.
Okay. I'm sure many of you are thinking about registration right now. At least that's what my office is working on very closely. And we have just registered all of our incoming international students. So we receive information about all of you and a list of all of you coming in and what your majors are. And then you filled out, or many of you filled out, the course preference form, which reported in things like what incoming credit you might have, or what SAT scores you might have, or classes you would prefer to take. So all of that information gets fed to us. Even if you didn't complete a course preference form, some of you did not, we still know your major and your incoming details. So we're still able to register you. So with that information, we've created schedules for all of you already. Many of you likely received an email from either myself or Stephanie that advised you to take a math placement score or exam, sorry. That is because of your major, most likely you're like computer science or a STEM major of some sort. STEM, if you don't know that term, refers to science, technology, engineering, and math. So our science heavy programs, the reason being most of them require calculus. And so to get into certain courses, you need to have a math placement score, a level that tells us what level of classes you're ready for. If you got a note from one of us, it means we don't have a score for you and we'd like to register you for a math class. It's like something that's important to your major to get into early, and we're asking you to take it in advance. This is an online exam. You can take it from home before you arrive. You will come in once you're on campus in person to do what we call a confirmation exam. So like to verify that the score is accurate. But based on the preliminary score, which you can take from home, and we're pulling a report and we see those scores every day, we can register you for those classes. The reason why that's important is because the classes fill up. So there's lots of incoming students and lots of people trying to get into things like computer science and math and biology and chemistry and some of the classes that are important for you guys to take. And so we want to be able to get you registered for them before they fill. So that's the idea behind the email if you received it from us. If you didn't receive an email, it means it's just perhaps you're coming into a major or your set of classes are such that it's just not as, it's not important to have it done before you arrive. For those students, there will be opportunities to take the math placement exam once you arrive on campus, and I believe that's going to be built into your orientation week. So,
Hey, Kathy, which email? So their St. Thomas email or their personal email?
I'm going to guess I went to the St. Thomas email.
Okay, super good to know. Thanks.
I should confirm that, but I'm sure it did. That's anything from the school, any communication for the most part, the school is sending out is going to your St. Thomas email. So what you have a schedule in place that can be changed. If something, if new information comes to light, or you come meet with us during orientation and there's a class you'd like to take or the class you'd not like to take, nothing's permanent. We can make changes to your schedule. We'll advise you, on the reasons why you're in the classes you are, and what your options are if you want to make any changes. So I hope that covers any questions, or kind of gives you an overall, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
And I did want to mention that the math placement test will be on Wednesday, August 28th. And we have reserved a time, space, and a room for everyone to take it. And that is part of the orientation schedule. And we'll have more information about the orientation schedule soon. Amanda, is there anything else that we'd like to cover?
I'll throw in one little more thing that, now that you mentioned that, we're actually going to be on site in the location where you're taking the math placement exam afterwards, so that if you come walking out of that exam and you now have a placement score that allows us to make a schedule change, we can do it right then and there. So it'll be really easy.
Very cool. Kathy, would you mind giving us a brief explanation of how transfer students are going to hear from academic counseling about course registration? What does it look like for them to be working with?
Well, transfer students we've met with or are meeting with in person. So those students were advised to schedule a transfer registration appointment with either Stephanie or I. And that is done over Zoom. And that's usually like an hour-long appointment where we meet you and register for classes. If we haven't met, we've likely already registered you based on what we anticipate, based on your major and information. And again, that can be changed. But anyone who is an incoming transfer student that has not had a meeting with Stephanie or I would encourage you to schedule that. I can share out, or if anyone wants to reach out to me by email, I can help you register with that, or schedule an appointment with us if you haven't or are unsure of how to do that. And that's just to talk about the details, what a big part of a transfer registration appointment is identifying what classes you're planning to transfer into St. Thomas so that we register you for the correct classes and don't overlap anything that you're already bringing in. So that's what's different about a transfer registration appointment.
That's great. Thank you so much, Kathy. Amanda, is there anything else that we'd like to cover about academic counseling?
Just if students have questions, otherwise that was super helpful, Kathy. Thank you.
Yeah.
And those students on the call, if you do have any questions, you're welcome to ask. You can type them in the chat box. You can unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, you will. Oh, sorry. Do we have a question?
Where's my chat?
Otherwise, we also, of course, will have time for you to connect with your academic counselor once you arrive on campus.
Okay, good. I see Amanda shared our email. If you do email into my office, if you do email into my office, it's helpful if you identify you're an international student, so they're sure to get you routed to Stephanie or I. Otherwise, you might go to anyone.
It looks like we do have a question in the chat.
Now, I would do it, if you've been told to do it now, do it as soon as you can. So you've already been registered based on not having a score, but we can make a quick schedule change. If we, as soon as we get a score, we can make a schedule change.
So for those who might watch this recording later, the question is, when is the online math placement exam due? And it's now, immediately, so that they can get you in the right classes.
Great, wonderful question. Okay, if there are no other questions for Kathy, then we will move on. But remember that you do have a chance to connect with your international counselors, your academic counselors once you get to campus. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm going to duck off, but welcome again, everybody. We're really excited to have you. Safe travels.
Okay. So we'd like to move on to the next part. We'd like to just quickly introduce two of your international student advisors. So myself, my name is Tina Albin. I am the Intercultural Programs Manager. And I have a few roles and I have a few ways that we will work together. The first thing that I do is I plan events on campus with our grad student, Carolina Martinez. She's here as well. If she wants to say hi. Carolina, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'll be working with Tina really closely for any events that we're gonna host throughout the semester. So if you have any questions, just let us know.
Carolina and I plan events throughout the semester that you can join. We do things like International Coffee Hour. We do, now I'm forgetting all of the events that we do.
We have Global Tommies. We're gonna have a boba event as well. Just a lot of events throughout the semester, so keep an eye out for that.
I also do a bit of immigration advising, which that might not come into play until maybe you're a little bit later in your academic career, once you're a second or third year. But if Miho is here, Miho, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Miho,
Yeah.
I'd love it if you could introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do as well.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Miho Patani. I'm Associate Director in the office. I do immigration advising. So once you all come to US and check in with us, St. Thomas, this fall, and register for classes and all that, while you're staying in the US at the St. Thomas, basically Tina, myself, and we have one more colleague, Paul Stanley, will be working with you to maintain. We'll be advising you how you can maintain your F1 immigration status, all the fun stuff. But also, my doors are open for you. So if you ever any question, just not only problems, okay? When you have fun thing to share, good, anything, I would like to get to know you. So please come and visit me, and then throughout your career at St. Thomas, we will guide you through and also to maintain your status.
And you'll probably receive a lot of emails from Miho and myself because Miho sends out important immigration emails that everyone should read as soon as they come out. They have a lot of very important information in terms of maintaining your status and doing all the things that you need to do in order to be an F1 student, and emails from myself with events and things that are going on. So if anybody has any questions for myself or Miho, you're welcome to reach out to us. If you have any questions, you can certainly ask them in the chat. You can say them out loud if you'd like to. But we just want to know that we're two very familiar faces that you'll be working with during your time at St. Thomas.
I want to add one more thing. When
Yeah.
we say immigration, it sounds really scary, yeah? No worries, we are not. So please, please, when you come to St. Thomas, you go through the whole orientation. And during the time, we will tell you what you need to be aware of, right? So we are not like, please, please, we would like to get to know you and stop by and chat with us. So just the immigration sounds really scary, but it's not. So please, please, we would like to get to know you.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have questions about your student visa or anything that relates to your student visa, it's best to come to us first. I know sometimes we want to ask our friends or ask our brother or sister who's also in the US, but everybody's situation is different. So it's really best to come to us first. That way we can give you accurate information so that there's no issues later on. But we're here for you. Our doors are always open. Yeah, we're just very excited to have you. Miho, is there anything else that you'd like to add or?
No, no, I don't have anything. You all have a safe travel, and I cannot wait to see you all in fall, and enjoy the rest of the time at your home country, and eat good food, and we'll see you in fall.
Thank you, Miho. So again, if you have any questions for us, let us know. But we will be meeting you as soon as you arrive on hopefully the 26th, because you have to check in with us once you get here. We'll go through some important information with you about your F1 student visa. Okay, I think it's time to move on. I'm going to pass things over to Amanda.
Thanks, Tina. Hi, everybody. We're just going to do some quick reminders. Those of you who joined pre-arrival call 1 already saw some of this information, but not everybody could join that call, and this is being recorded. So I wanted to remind you of who are your admissions counselors, who's on the team for international admissions. So you can see here, my name is Amanda. I am the Assistant Director for International Admissions, and each of us, me, John, and Lou, we have a territory as well. And so if you, for some reason, don't know who your counselor is, I hope you do, because we talk to you all the time. You can check here. So if you are from Europe, Southeast Asia, or East Africa, I am your counselor. If you are from North, Central, South America, if you're currently an F1 student in the United States, or you're from Canada, or you're from West Central or Southern Africa, John is your counselor. And then if you are from anywhere in South Central Asia, Middle East, or North Africa, Lou is your counselor. So make sure you follow up with us. If you have any questions at all, we will answer you immediately, probably. So I'd like to also have Anju and Holly introduce themselves, because no one's met Holly yet. She's a new member of our team. So Anju, do you want to introduce yourself first, and then we'll have Holly introduce herself?
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Anju Chopra. I am based out of India, and I am here to help you guys. So if you have any queries regarding UST, your admission, your offer, visa, and maybe after that, any queries you have before leaving from India, you are more than welcome to get in touch with me. Thank you.
Thanks, Anju. Holly, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. Hello, everybody. My name is Him Pham, or you can call me Holly. So I'm the new member of the international recruitment team. And so far, I'm in charge of taking care of all of the Vietnamese students. And I'm here to support you to answer anything related to academic information or prepare for you to study abroad, especially at our University of St. Thomas.
Thanks, Holly. Thanks, Anju. So if you are a student from Vietnam or India and you want to talk to somebody in your time zone, you have two awesome members of our St. Thomas team there to talk with you, answer any questions you might have. Holly's based out of Ho Chi Minh City and Anju's based right outside of Delhi. So if you're close, maybe they'll even meet you for coffee. So feel free to reach out, and if you don't know how to get in touch with them, you could just write me and I'll connect you. They have Zallo, WhatsApp, all the things. So don't worry. Awesome. Thank you so much. Tina, you want to go to the next slide? Oh, hey, B. Our current student on the call with us today is B. Bemnet. She is from Ethiopia. B, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. My name is Bemnet. I like to go by B. Do I say everything? Or
Yeah, say all the things, whatever you want to share.
I'm really excited. So I'm an international student from Ethiopia. I'm actually currently in Ethiopia. I'm back for a break. And I'm going to be a sophomore next year. And my majors are international studies and economics. And I'm very excited to help all of you. And if you need anything, I'm your girl.
Hey, are awesome. We're going to have a Q&A session with B at the end of the call too. So you guys can ask her all your questions, whatever you want to know about being a current student. She's incredible. So take this time to ask her great questions, and she'll be your new friend when you arrive for everybody. Awesome. Thanks, B. Go ahead, Tina. Okay, reminders. This is the most important thing you need to tell us right now is if you get your visa. Lots of you have upcoming visa appointments over the next month and a half. Please make sure you tell us when you get it. If you have been waiting for an appointment and you finally get one, tell us that too. We really want to know how you're doing. If you want to meet with one of us before your visa appointment, we're happy to have a meeting with you. Anything we can help to support this process. We know it's kind of stressful. We're here to support. So just make sure you tell us the outcome. And if you get it, great. Then you're coming to St. Thomas for sure. And you can book your flight if you haven't already done so. But if you don't get it for some reason, whether the appointments are full or you were denied, we can talk to you about what your options are for a second visa appointment or possibly deferring to spring intake. So just make sure you talk to your counselor. We're here to support you. Go ahead, Tina. Okay, so we wanted to kind of touch upon this a little bit this time, and we'll go into more depth on the July call, because some of this stuff with technology you'll want to get more familiar with by July, because it's about a month before you come, and it's time to like really remember how to log into things and everything like that. But we wanted to make sure that you all understood what we're talking about, because for some reason we love to use the word portal for everything. So you have your application portal, which is where you apply to St. Thomas, or if you have Common App, it's how we moved our Common App into St. Thomas. That is where you can find all your updates. It's where you submitted your deposit probably. It is where you can see like a housing waiver. You can see your course preference form information, your housing preference form information. Really just like a running checklist at this point of everything you need to know, including your student ID number. And this is important that you remember your student ID number. You'll eventually get an ID when you show up to campus, but make sure you know that number. You'll use it your entire 4 years here. So that's your application portal. After you arrive, you will not use your application portal any longer. And so that's good for you to know too. Your health portal and immunizations. We got into some chats about this on the last call. And on the next call, we're actually having people from the Center for Wellbeing come to the call. So like how you had course registration at the beginning of this call, next month's call, we're going to be talking about health insurance with the people who actually help run the health insurance for international students. We'll cover everything you need to know about immunizations, all of it. A lot of you guys have been asking a lot of questions, so we want to make sure that we set aside time for you on the July call. And then there's also the OISS portal. This is becoming your most important place as an international student. So it is where you requested your I-20. You will use this as a current student. This is your place for all your important visa-related, student status-related documents, different things you need to submit to us. It's secure. So, you know, sometimes when you're sending important information about yourself, you want to make sure it's in a safe place. And so this is what you'll use the entire time as a student. If you're not sure why everything is an acronym, that is something that just happens at universities because there's so many offices and things going on. And so for a reminder, OISS is us. It's our office, Office of International Students and Scholars. And so it's international admissions and international student advising. So that's who we are. And so you'll see that a lot. And then finally, there's a whole internal website to St. Thomas called One St. Thomas. So if you Google like St. Thomas, stthomas.edu will pop up on Google. However, One St. Thomas, you have to log into it. It's an internal website only for students and people who work at St. Thomas to make sure that all the important information that you need is accessible to you without clogging up all of our external websites with stuff that is really just for you as a current student. And this is also where you can access things like your Murphy account and Canvas. And we're going to go over those a little bit more in depth today and next time. So OISS portal, go ahead, Tina, it's okay. OISS portal, this is where you requested your I-20. This is what it looks like. It's also if you already have a CVIS record here and are transferring your I-20 from your high school or your university or your college, this is also where you would request it. This you will use forever. So just make sure you have done that already. The vast majority of you have already done all of this, so you're solid. God damn it. Okay, other things to think about. They are changing a little bit. If you got, so when you get your St. Thomas email, you create your St. Thomas email with, you make your own password, which will have the password forever. And you have to create like a second confirmation called Microsoft Authentication. And it's a code. Sometimes it lets you set up as a texting method. We are getting rid of the texting method. So not only are we getting rid of it, but also you're going to get kind of confused when you get here because you're going to not be able to get your texts anymore because your old phone number is going to get a text from home while you're in the United States. Carrie Ann, do you have a question? Nope. Okay. So make sure you download the app before you come because so many students every year show up and they're like, oh, no, I can't access my email. It's okay. We can help you. We can fix it. If you forget for some reason, we can fix it, but make sure you download the Authenticator app. Very easy. It's in your phone. You can always have it. And then when you travel back and forth, you always can access your email and things like that that you need for school. Tina. Okay, this is One St. Thomas. It's literally one.stthomas.edu. You have to log in, but once you log in, you stay logged in. This is my screenshot because you can see I put a photo of myself at the top. We will go over how to use One St. Thomas in depth on the July call. It will show you how to use it. It will show you how to organize it for yourself, what it's most useful for, how you can structure it to make yourself successful. We will use all of it because there's even like apps inside of it. It's really just quick links to websites, but we'll show you everything that you would need on the next call. The main thing being Murphy, where you store your class registration and your billing and your personal information. And that's like the internal like storage of important data for students, Murphy. And then Canvas is, do you want to hit the next slide, Tina? Canvas is also, we'll talk about that. So Murphy looks like this. It looks kind of like a weird old computer system because it is very basic, but it holds all your information really securely. And so this is where you'd update your address when you move. This is where you'll eventually register yourself for classes in the future, but not this semester. But you can view your classes in here as well. If you get an on-campus job, this is where you're going to fill out some paperwork, things like that. B, what else do you use Murphy for? Did I cover it?
Oh, should I just, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Murphy, I use Murphy for everything. Well, to check my grades, how I'm doing during my midterms or final. If I have any holds on my account, I go there and I check it out, and it specifies what hold you have. So that's easier to tell whomever is in charge to just go in there and do whatever they have to do. And yeah, so for employees, that's really nice too, because that's how you put your time or how you get paid. So Murphy is actually a very, very good application.
Sweet. Awesome. Tina, you wanna go to the next one? Canvas. So Canvas is basically little mini classes for all your classes. There's a couple other things in there too, of course, but all of your classes will also be on Canvas. And so Canvas you can get to from one St. Thomas. There's also an app, which is pretty nice to quickly check your grades like B was talking about. You can always see them in Murphy, but teachers will or professors will also post grades a lot of the time in Canvas. Every professor is different. So that's something if you haven't been educated in the US before, it's something that I always get told by students is different, how much variety there is in the structure of a classroom based on who's teaching it. And so you need to learn what your individualized professor likes, how they function, how they use Canvas, for example. But for everybody on the call, you have probably been getting emails and it's in your application portal about orientation and registration. And so this is where we also have an international student module or kind of like a mini class to help you get through some important information that at your own pace. There's also an orientation and registration module and a tummy tech to help you understand all this stuff we're kind of teaching you about a little bit so far. So you feel really good when you show up to campus and not confused. So I see, thanks Ingrid, great question. What's the difference between Canvas and Murphy? Such a good question. Murphy you use for like internal data. So your addresses, your bill, your course registration, all of that. Canvas is more like educational. It goes with your classes. And so you'll have a Canvas module, like you can see on the screenshot, for each of your classes. And right now for orientation stuff, things you have to complete, kind of like educational, and then there's like a quiz, and then you keep going to help you educate yourself on technology, or we have one for like safety, diversity, international student content as well. And so Canvas you'll use your entire time. It goes along with your classes, so you can always see it. And it's also where you can check your grades and stuff too. Such a good question. So make sure you check this out, but we will go over it. We will log in. We will show you exactly what to do in July. Oh, good. Naja said there's some student orientation modules already up that you can see, but the one for international students hasn't shown up yet. Great point. Thanks, Naja. We don't tend to show it early because then sometimes students get very overwhelmed with what to complete. Tina will make it active, and there's actually a link we will share with you if you, for some reason, aren't sure how to make it active, that you just open the link and it'll show up for you. So Tina will be sending that out in July so that you guys have the information a little bit closer to when you arrive. Thanks, Naja. Okay, Tina, I'm ready for the next slide. Oh, it's all about what Tina's going to share. Tina, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, when you arrive on campus, which for many of you we hope is Monday, August 26th, we will do lots of different activities for you. We will make sure that you kind of get adjusted before, your classes start, before the welcome days activities start. We have our orientation schedule. It's not complete yet, but we have the basic information, and the full schedule will be posted on July 1st. And I'll show you the schedule right now. I'm just gonna switch screens, so just give me one moment here. And I know Amanda did send it in the chat, but I'll just briefly share it just so we can go through it together. But for some reason, I'm not great at using the computer this morning. I'm sorry. It's 8 o'clock for those of us in Minnesota, so please forgive me. Okay. Are you all able to see my orientation screen? Can you see
Yep.
it?
All
Okay.
good.
Okay. So this website, in a week or so, we will be updating the website with the full schedule, but you can see here. Oh, Okay, you can see here that we've got our schedule for orientation week. So we've got some important information. For example, we'll be open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. to help you do your check-in process. So with that, you'll have to bring your visa, you'll have to bring your passport, you'll have to bring your official transcripts, which Amanda can talk about that later, but you'll be meeting with myself or Miho, a member of our staff, and we'll go through some important introductory information for you. But for example, on Monday, and I know if you were in the call last time, I did talk about this, but I just wanted to go through it very briefly. On Monday, we have a full day of activities. We will help you move into your res halls. We're also offering airport pickups, but it's only for Monday. Okay, it's only so if you're arriving on Monday, that's the only day that we're offering or providing airport pickups for you. But on this first day of orientation, we'll have icebreakers and games. We'll have meals in our on-campus dining halls with some of your international orientation leaders, and lots of other activities to help you meet other new students and to kind of get adjusted. And then we've got Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, it's kind of the same thing. You can do your immigration check-in with one of our OISS staff. We'll have an opportunity for you to open a US bank account if you don't have one. And we'll also have an opportunity for you to get a mobile phone account if you don't already have one. And we'll have other people on campus that can help answer some questions you might have. We're going to have an evening picnic for all new international students. It's going to be really fun. There'll also be some evening programming that night. I think Tuesday night is s'mores and a bonfire. So if you've never had a s'more before, you'll have a chance to make one. They're delicious. Wednesday, we will have transfer orientation for those of you who are transfer students. And then for those of you who are international undergrad, first time, first year, we will have a required immigration session where we're going to go over all of the information you need to know about being an F1 student. We'll talk about employment. We'll talk about class schedule and how many credits you should be taking. We'll talk about travel and all kinds of things like that. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. But again, we will have our full schedule posted on July 1st, and it'll have dates and times and locations and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay. And Bemnet, I hope that I don't put you on the spot, but I did want to ask you a quick question about orientation from last year. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
When did you arrive for orientation last year? Do you remember?
It was August 27, 28. I can't remember that.
That's okay. Is there something that you remember about orientation from last year? Anything special you remember? Anything fun? Anything different?
Well, I could say for sure that at first I was panicking a little. It was a new place. But then I heard Amanda's voice and it was the most calming thing ever because it was louder than any of my thoughts. And she was so happy to see us all. So I was there like, oh, wow, I'm going to fit in really well here. And every international student came and gave me a hug and they were ready to play games with me and icebreakers. And it was just wonderful. And 10 minutes, I was telling my mom to hurry up and go so I can have fun with my new friends. And it was really nice. So yeah, that was really a very beautiful thing because I could see that other international students was also like a little scared to talk to each other, kind of all had each other's number or Instagram and ready to chat with each other. Yeah.
That's great, Bea. Thank you. Do you remember any of the activities? I know it was a very overwhelming time and you probably just arrived and you were very tired.
No.
Do you remember any of the
I remember doing
activities that you did or
icebreakers.
anything?
Yeah,
Sorry.
we did try not to laugh, which was really hard not to laugh at that game. And we were just going around doing sounds or just trying to sing. And the people that laughed, they had to quit the game. And then there were some winners. We kind of talked about our countries a little, tried to tell each other where we come from. We played games of balls, and we got a lot of candy that day because we kept on winning and winning for no reason. So we got so many candies that day. We also went on, I think we went on a Target trip after that. I can't really remember. Yeah, we went on a Target trip on the shuttle to Minneapolis, and the other international students were just really excited to go with us, and I was a bit scared, but we got what we needed and we got out. And then maybe we had an ice cream show too, because it was like so many things happening at once. But I remember also having an ice cream social and talking to a lot of people. It was really nice because that first week, the international students were they were the only ones there for the time, and we just saw each other everywhere we went. So just when we saw a group of people, we knew, oh, those are the international students, and we're gonna go there and have fun now. And it was really beautiful.
Thank you, B. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Amanda, did you want to talk about housing assignments or anything related to that?
Yeah, like Kathy said earlier about your course registration and math placement emails going to your St. Thomas email. Residence Life will be sending your room assignments to your St. Thomas email. So you have to be checking it. Our team is really nice. We send everything to mostly your personal email and your St. Thomas email for right now. But everybody else on campus is sending stuff to your St. Thomas email. So please make sure you're checking it. You can get the app on your phone to check it. It's a lot easier to do that, and make sure you have it. It's Microsoft Outlook, if you don't know. But if you have any questions about your St. Thomas email or information, whether it's about housing or anything else that people are sending to you, you can feel free to ask us. We're happy to help you with all the technology stuff. It's a lot, we know, but soon you'll be a year later and you'll know how to do everything. So it'll be fine, you know. But if you have any questions about your housing assignment, your roommate, how it works, anything you want to know, you can email them at reslife@stthomas.edu. They're super kind and very helpful. And so they'll answer you with whatever you'd need, but let us know. Go ahead, Tina. Okay, we've reached the time where we're going to quiz B. Yeah. Carolina, did you have questions you would like to ask B specifically? Then we can open it up to anybody who wants to ask questions.
So yeah, I just wanted B to kind of share a little bit about her experience first. And then we can open it up to any students that have questions. So B, tell us a little bit more about your experience. Did you have any difficulties? How did you overcome them? Nothing, too personal.
Yeah.
But just in general, did you have difficulty adjusting and stuff like that? If you can share a little bit more about that.
All right. So I think every international student's first difficulty is going to be, how am I going to settle in a new place? Am I going to find new friends? And that's the thing that worries us the most. Like, my parents are not going to be there anymore. But I feel like in St. Thomas, I found another family. And it was really quick to happen because everyone was just so ready to help. The first day I went again, as I said, was a little panicky, but once I saw everyone and how they interacted, they helped me in my dorm. They helped me put my bed down. I was never alone. So it was always someone that you're gonna meet someone on your floor or in your building. You're gonna meet someone everywhere, and then by the end of the week, you're gonna be really good friends. I loved the lunch that we had together because I got to talk more with people because, I'm a stress eater, so I was eating and then I was like, okay, I'm more relaxed now. So I get to talk a lot more. And so I talked to a lot of new kids. And one thing you got to know is other people from your country are also going to be there or your continent. So you're just going to be there having the same kind of experience that they did. And then you're just going to bond through that. So for me, it was a little difficult coming to a new place, but the difficulty didn't really stay that long. I was very lucky, and I'm sure all of you are going to be as lucky as I am. Everyone in OISS was so ready to help. It was so, at first I was even a little suspicious, like, why are they so nice? But that was the most beautiful thing ever, because Tina, Amanda, John, they always opened their doors, even Miho, they were always there saying, come in, I'm Tina, and I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. So I can't wait until you guys experience that.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions? If anyone has questions, they can just raise their hand, put them in the chat. I just want to give you guys a chance if you have any questions for B right now. I got more questions for you. So while we wait for students to ask any questions, food-wise, was it a hard adjustment? Like, did you find food from home? How was that for you?
Well, for me, on campus, I did not find food from home, but I wasn't expecting to find from home. But there were other foods that I was really excited for. I was really excited for the sandwich and the pizzas. And what I loved the most was the soda machine. I was like, oh, this is gonna be my day-to-day life. I'm gonna drink soda every day. Don't do that. It's not good. But I love the food there. Of course, at first you're gonna be a little like, oh, I miss the food at home. And you're gonna feel a little nostalgic when it comes to the food. But I saw that St. Thomas really tries its best to change the foods and try to provide other different kinds of food every week. And that kind of made me feel better about missing out the food at home. But also, there are other places you can eat outside that I found later on, and they're like Ethiopian foods for me. There is like Ethiopian restaurants and Vietnamese restaurants, and we go there with the international students and we get to eat each other's food. So I really wouldn't worry about the food.
Perfect. So it looks like Naja has a question. How do I kickstart my adjustment to the Minnesota winters as a tropical girl?
That was my biggest question coming here. You're gonna feel cold. Get ready for that. But you're gonna have St. Thomas is gonna remind you every second before winter to get your coats, your gloves, your hat. You're gonna get reminders. I thankfully had a very nice winter this winter, so I'm gonna experience the cold as you guys are gonna experience it for the first time. I feel like, because we didn't have that much snow this year, but all you have to do is wear the right clothes and you're gonna be fine. And you have tunnels to go from one building to the other. So even if you don't go outside, you'll survive. You'll go to your classes from your dorm.
Yeah, it's not super tragic.
Yeah.
And
It's not,
I mean, and you've had like limited experience too, because this past winter wasn't that cold.
what
It's manageable.
the campus is so beautiful during the winter though. One thing you guys are gonna love is the campus is gorgeous when the snows. I miss that even now. Don't miss the snow, but I do miss seeing the campus looking that beautiful. It's like North Pole.
So let me just answer Ingrid's question really quickly.
Carolina,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Back to
Okay.
Naja's question. I just wanted to say, at the end of the presentation, I'm gonna share an opportunity for another Zoom call that you can join. And one of the one of the slides that we were going to talk about is winter weather. So Naja, if you're still here at the end, I'll mention this Zoom call that we're going to have with the University of Minnesota and a couple other institutions. And one of the big things we're going to talk about is the weather. So I just thought about that. Sorry, Carolina, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So Ingrid, yes, there will be activities that first weekend. That's going to be welcome day. So there's going to be lots of activities.
The schedule for welcome days is also being finalized right now, but it will be linked to our main international student orientation page. So you can go to like one spot and then like find everything, even if you have to go to a different page, it'll be linked for you. So then you can see like, okay, like international orientation is like really like those first 3 days. And then the Americans, most of the other students on campus will show up. And then you do welcome days. And that goes all throughout that weekend. That Monday is a holiday in the United States, September, whatever that is, 1st, 5th, 5th, whatever. And so like you have programming throughout the whole weekend. And then Tuesday is March Through the Arches, where you get to hold your flag and walk through the arches, and it's really cool. Don't worry, we'll tell you how to sign up. And then Wednesday is class. So you really do have full programming from the time you arrive that Monday, the 26th, until the time you have class that Wednesday, September, I think it's 5th. So don't worry, but also there's breaks. We won't like overdo it. Like it's a good balance of you having time to rest and do other things, but also not feeling like you're left alone or hanging out by yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got another question. What's one thing you would advise incoming students to prepare for that you didn't prepare for in advance?
One thing I'd advise is to go on the OISS Instagram, International Student Instagram, and see new incoming international students. Follow them and then chat a little. Don't be shy. Text them. One student did that for me. I didn't get to do it to a lot of people, and it really helps you out because we talked from the plane from our countries until we got to St. Paul. So that was really a sweet thing we did together. That's an experience I'll forever cherish. So don't be shy. Talk to people. If you have questions, ask the questions. You have international student ambassadors everywhere. Text them, email them, do whatever you have to do. Just don't be shy.
Going off of that,
Carolina, I do have a
yeah.
question, but
for it.
just tap me in when you're ready for it.
Sure. Let me just ask this really quickly first. Did you find your experience making friends with US students different, hard? How was that for you?
It surely was different for sure. It was more, I had more time. I spent more time with the international students because we had this whole week alone with each other. But I don't think it's that hard. If you talk to them, especially if you have roommates and you're in a dorm and you don't know your roommates, again, if you don't know your roommate, just try to find them too. But then if they're American, they have American friends, you're gonna be friends. Making friends might be hard for some people, but at the end of the day, you're gonna meet someone that you're just gonna connect with.
Thank you. John, go for it.
B, we know each other through the International Student Ambassador Program. I'm happy to talk about it a little bit, but would you like to just share some of your experiences from the program and like what you get to do for students and what the program's all about for you?
The international program, student program, is basically having a smaller sibling to take care of, so that you like well, not in the most annoying way, just in the most beautiful way. I felt like a sibling that they took who I am today, which is more comfortable with myself, and I get to know what to do at what time when I was alone. When I first came in, the few international students that were there, they gave me an orientation at first, and then everywhere I went, they were there. They were there to support me. They talked to me, asked me how I was, and that's the most beautiful thing someone can do to you, is ask you how you are, because you are alone at that time. So that mattered to me a lot. They asked me how I was. They asked me to go to lunch with them. It's also sharing your experience. It's If I did something wrong in my first week or in my first year, I could tell you guys, and you guys can do much better than I did. And if you guys have questions, I'm here to answer them, or any other international student is here to answer them. And you will know international students because once you guys see each other, they're gonna come and they're going to be there for you. They're gonna be like, oh, I know this person. She's an international student. I'm gonna ask her how she's doing, and I'm gonna help her. That's something I love about St. Thomas, is everyone is ready to help each other. And also there is Amanda and John and Tina. And Tina sends emails all the time telling us about the new things that are happening on campus, or what we should do. The coffee, international coffee, you guys are gonna love that. You're gonna have to compete for the best coffee, because we do believe that Ethiopia has the best coffee. So I'm ready for some of you to prove me wrong. You're gonna love Amanda. She's amazing. She will be making you laugh every second. John, same thing. Not as Amanda, but still beautiful, calm way. He's ready to help you. And so is Miho. And for me, the OISS is somewhere I can go in to just feel. It's really like a home for me. It's a home away from home. And everyone is just accepted and wonderful people.
We do have a couple more questions. So did you know anyone on campus or incoming students before you came to St. Thomas? And if so, was that one thing you considered when choosing school? I know you just talked about Instagram and how you were chatting to one of the incoming students on there, but do you have any other insight?
Yeah, so I didn't know as much international students coming in, but actually the person I just told you contacted me. He contacted me through this Zoom, the exact same Zoom we had with all of the other international students. It was just a private text saying, hey, I'm Nikhil. I would like to talk to you and become friends. And he gave me his Insta. And also there is the OISS Instagram account, and there is a 2028 or 2027 upcoming international students, or just St. Thomas students Instagram accounts that you guys can find somewhere. So just look for it. Email, private chat each other here. If you guys see that there are other people, just send a private chat saying, hey, my name is whomever you are, I'm here, and I was wondering if you'd like to become friends or if you'd like to chat, because I'm worried about this and that, and I'm sure you're worried about this and that too. So use this moment not only to gain information from, well, us, but also to gain friends and talk to each other.
Perfect. One other question.
Sorry, Carolina.
Yeah.
Just to follow up with what you were saying, and I wrote it in the chat, each of you has one international student ambassador, that it could be B or it could be somebody else, who has already written you an email and said, hi, I want to be your friend, basically. You want to talk? And you guys can either email, you can exchange WhatsApp, you can exchange Instagram, Facebook, whatever you guys prefer. It's your guys' decision, you and the current international student ambassador. And so make sure you check your emails, because a lot of them were like, oh, I emailed them and they never wrote back, and they're only there to help you. And so if you check your email, if you go backwards, then you guys can connect on a different platform. If you prefer some other messaging app, is fine. But you will meet them when you're here. They're as awesome as B. And so you'd have that friend ahead of time that we've already given you. And so please check and answer them. If you want a friend, it's really nice. But it's all in your email. You got it a couple weeks ago. Again, if you already weren't matched, everyone's gotten several so far. Okay, thanks.
Okay, perfect. So, B, coming from a different curriculum, how can we best prepare for the like academic part, like exams, what to expect academically? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it sure is a little harder coming from a different academic perspective, but one thing you have to know is that your professors are here to help you, and they will tell you exactly what they require from you, and then they will give you time to work on that. So even if you don't know how it works, even if you're very confused, at the end, they're gonna give you time. They're gonna give you office hours, and you get to just walk in and learn exactly how everything works. And even if that doesn't help you, we're here to help you. Again, international student ambassadors are always here to help you. Same professors, since we might have taken the same course, but we just know how that thing works. So just ask us, find someone, come to OISs and say, I understand this. And you will find a response to your question anytime. But I wouldn't worry about that much. Canvas, everything is on Canvas. If you have any academic, if your homeworks, your lectures are on Canvas, so it's not really that hard to adjust to. And if you have hardships, I'm here for you, so don't worry about it.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any other last questions?
Do we want to keep showing this next two slides so that people who had to end can leave, and then we can have extra questions after?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, so somebody, I think Anna, asked about platforms. I would take a picture of this, whatever you would like. The giant WhatsApp group that we just spoke about, this is the QR code to join it. So if you'd like to be in the group, you can join it by doing the QR code here and joining the group. We will add you later. If you don't join anyways, then you can leave. If you don't want to be in it, that's fine. But this is easier for you guys to self-join. We'll also put a couple current students in there so you can chat with them. Everybody will be in there, so you can ask questions, introduce yourselves, whatever you'd like. The class of 2028 Instagram account, you can join it, and then you send through the DM, you send pictures in your blurb, and they'll post it. And so you can introduce yourself. There is a Facebook group also that's not on here called Class of 2028. If you search in Facebook, University of St. Thomas Class of 2028, it's in there. Most of the time that's used for like people looking for roommates and stuff, but you're welcome to join that as well. So let us know if you need anything. If for some reason you're like, oh no, I can't join the group, you can see our WhatsApp number right there at the bottom. That's the WhatsApp number that you can write anytime. It's for the office for you to ask questions, and then we'll add you to the group then too if you're not sure. Go ahead, Tina.
Okay, I just wanted to talk very quickly about a special virtual welcome event that we're going to be having next week. It is hosted by universities and colleges from around Minnesota. I will be there representing St. Thomas. It will also be hosted by the University of Minnesota and other, other colleges in the area. It's going to be a really great way to learn more about Minnesota, about the Twin Cities, St. Paul and Minneapolis, where you're going to be for the next, several years. You may even have a chance to meet other students who will be starting their new journey. They could be from your home country. They may be from, close to your home country, things like that. We'll also talk about winter and we'll give you some other important tips for making the best of your time here. It's going to be at 8 a.m. next Thursday. I think it's Thursday. Did I get the date right? Wednesday, sorry. Next Wednesday at 8 a.m. And if you see this little sign up here link, we can send that. Maybe one of us can send that in the chat And if you want to register, you can. It'll just ask you some basic questions. What university are you, what university are you at? Major things like that. So this is not just a St. Thomas event. This is for all international students, or many international students coming to Minnesota in the fall. It's going to be, I think, about 1 hour, 1.5 hours. We'll even have some breakout rooms at the end if you want to talk about, winter or food or things like that. And maybe Carolina can share the link in the chat if she has a chance. But I just wanted to let you know about this fun event that's coming up. It's just another way to get connected with Minnesota before you get here. Okay. We'll share that in the chat too, but so we have a couple important dates coming up. Our next pre-arrival call is going to be in about 1 month. And it's going to be again at 8 a.m. And then we have one more pre-arrival call in August before you arrive. And again, that's at 8 a.m. Remember that arrival and move-in day is August 26th. We have the link for airport pickup on our orientation page, but please remember we're only doing airport pickup on Monday, okay? Now, if you are arriving after the 26th, I'm sure Amanda and John can talk more about that, but just be in touch with us. Let us know your schedules and things like that. And then put on your calendars, Wednesday, September 4th is your first day of class. Amanda, would you like to talk a little bit about this slide?
Sure. So next call, we're going to talk about things you can buy here, including textbooks, and then move-in. Obviously, if you have more questions, and we'll always keep talking about move-in orientation, but we will talk about a lot more technology. So for example, how to pay your bill. What do you do? How does that look? How to use One St. Thomas. When do I go to Murphy? We'll also be including health insurance, a representative from International Student Health Insurance, Center for Wellbeing, and then also Residence Life is hopefully going to join on this call. So if you have a specific question or you just want to hear more about what it looks like, I think she will be joining us. And then you also need to do some things to get your student ID card, just like, the final things that are helpful to know about a month out. Anna, I'm so happy you asked that question. She said, do you have to bring your own bed linen or pillow? No. If you want to, sure. Also, we have like Amazon and other things here that you can easily get that delivered to yourself within that first few days if you'd prefer that. But we will provide temporary bedding, blanket, sheets, pillow for you when you arrive. And then once you buy your own bedding, you just give that back to Residence Life once you're done with it. So want to make sure you're comfortable your first night after a long trip for some of you. So yeah, but then we will do a Target run as a part of orientation, and you'll go to Target and you can buy all the cute stuff for your room, bedding, whatever, or you can Amazon or other delivery method your address on campus. You can't send anything now because you don't exist yet, according to, you're not there yet. But maybe like a week before you arrive, you can ship yourself stuff. And it's literally just your full name and the university address. That's how you ship yourself stuff. And they will organize it for you. You get an email to your St. Thomas account when it's ready to pick up, and you have to go pick it up in the mailroom. That's it. It's that easy. So just know that that's an option, but we will talk about that again next call. Cool. Any final questions for anyone on this call, whether it's B or me or Tina or John? Anybody? Nothing? Wow. Cool. Okay. Well, we will share this recording as well as this PowerPoint with all the embedded links and things like that with all of you. And then you will receive the same style invite where we email you first, and then we send you a follow-up calendar invite for the call on July 18th. And then again for August 15th, right before you arrive. But please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything at all. We're all here to help you. And we're really excited to see you really soon. Christina, great question. Do we change dorms every semester or every school year? Great question. Just once a year. And so for your first year, you will have your same room for the whole year. So September to end of May is your room. So even if you go home for winter break over January, you have your room, which is really nice. And then you would submit a new housing preference form to get a different room or building for your second year. And then if you don't want to live on campus after that, you don't have to. So every year it looks different. Thanks, B. Cool. Awesome. Well, we'll sit here for like 30 more seconds in case, J-term. I knew there was be more questions. So J-term is January term and is an optional 1 month quick semester. And so from, I think final end, usually about December 22nd, depending on each year's calendar. From then until the first day of class, which is usually the first week of February, you don't have to go to school if you don't want to. You can go home for those, 5 weeks? You can travel the US. You can stay on campus and work if you have an on-campus job. You can stay on campus and work and take a class. Classes are all 50% off for January and summer. So you don't have your scholarship that you were awarded. You have a 50% discount. All students have the same discount because you don't have to take a summer or January class, but you can. A lot of students will also use January to do an additional short-term study abroad. So you can go to a study abroad program during that January term if you'd like. Either way, it's very, very flexible. You can change your mind every year about what you want to do, but you do have your room, so that's good. Pick up for the student ID card. Great question, Bazil. For the student ID card, you will get reminders in your orientation and emails and things like that about how to submit your photo, because we'll actually get your card printed for you ahead of time if you submit your photo, which there's very strict requirements on what kind of photo they'll accept. So make sure you follow the rules. If you, for some reason, do not submit your photo, we will take you in person to go take a photo and they'll print your ID card for you. However, if you are arriving very late at night, I really recommend getting your ID card set up beforehand with your photo, because your ID card is your key to your building and your room for most buildings on campus. So it makes it smoother if we have your little face for your proper ID, for your key and your ID. We can pick it up for you ahead of time. So great question. I'm glad you asked it. Because I actually really recommend you submit your photo, since you're a Schultz student. You will need to come early. So we'll talk about that later with you. Cool. Any final questions? So to submit your photo, there's a website. If one of us wants to pull it up, it should be up already. It's just under the card office, and then there's specific directions for how to submit your photo. You will also see these directions in the orientation module, which is in Canvas, which you will get emails about to your St. Thomas email. And they will remind you over and over and over again to do this. I think looks like John or somebody is looking up that website for you to paste it into the chat, so you can go and look at it right now if you'd like. It's just on our external website under the card office, and then it has the directions, and then there's a button to submit your photo, and they'll tell you if it doesn't, there you go. They'll tell you if it doesn't meet the standard. Like you can have your dog in it. Like some people try to submit really goofy stuff and they won't take it. So, but seriously, worst case scenario, especially for you, Karian, we can give you a temporary card, or we can get it the next day during the day in person, take a photo in the office itself. It's no big deal. Cool. Awesome. Well, we will see you all July 18th. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy. And let us know if you need anything. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.